And here we are again on Thursday at noon. Well, 1 minute past noon, but who cares? Lots has happened this week. I'll tell you about this in a minute. This is Toni Weel, a Dr. Morse trained iridologist, detox specialist, counselor, an herbalist. I consider myself still an herbalist in training. Nutritional health coach. I've been studying quite a few things, and the funny thing is, I had never put it on my Facebook page, introducing myself, which I for the first time did this morning. And then we have Sarah with us, who knows at least as much, if not more, than I do. And I love that. She always, well, I don't like to say compliment me because she does way more than that. Way more than that.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you so much. But I am definitely not a doctor, and I have no training whatsoever. This is just my pure own research. So I guess follow me at your own discretion.
Yeah, but you know what? Your training is your learning is your research. I mean, when I trained with Dr. Morse, the research, the information was put right in front of me. But I felt that over the years, since I started actually practicing and working with people, I still had to do a lot of research. So that is how we learn. And it's always interesting, and I consider myself always learning, always.
Yep. It's something too that I love to do as well. I love the research. It comes very easy to me. And the reason why I think it comes easy is because it's truth, and I know it like on a soul level as well. So, and I think that's when it sparks a lot of people, like it lights up within them when they hear it. And it's like that, oh, I hear the truth.
Well, exactly. But isn't that what it means? Be the light.
Yep.
Be
Exactly.
the truth, and that is how it gets through to people.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, we can welcome Juan here again. He is already online with us, and I'm sure he has another story or more stories. And we have, who do we have here? Dave, Grant. And yeah, I want to tell you about what happened to me. Of course, I was doing my things in the kitchen and not being in the moment. My mind was completely at a different spot than what my body was doing, which resulted I slipped on the kitchen floor. And there I sat with my terrible sore knees already. I bumped this right side of my head, the right side of the right side of my body actually slammed into a new kitty litter cabinet. You have these little pretty things, they look like a cabinet and they hide a litter box. Well, no bruises on that or any damages on that piece of furniture, but I did have my damages and I did have my pain.
Oh.
Awful pain in my right leg. And I was like, I can handle quite a bit of pain because I never take pain medication. Not even when my broken femur, I was in the hospital and they wanted to have me on morphine. And I was like, nope. And they said, you have to because you have to move. And if you are in pain, you do not move. And they were right in that aspect. So they actually forced me to take it then. But as soon as I was home and I was sent home with a big bottle of oxycodone, and I was like, nope, not going to happen. So I did not take anything at pain. And then I was like, yeah, maybe I should take a hot bath. And then from all sides, it was like, Toni, you have to take a hot bath with Epsom salt. And then I was thinking, well, Epsom salt, that has too much sulfur. That's not too healthy. Maybe I should take the Himalayan salt. And I do have Epsom salt still. And I hadn't used it for like 3 years because I did not want to add more sulfur in my body because I tried to get it out, not putting more in. But I got to the point and it was like, what the heck, let's do the Epsom salt. And oh my gosh, I sat an hour in that tub, that pain was gone.
Oh, that's so good.
That is amazing. That is really amazing. But then the next day, my poor right buttocks has a muscle pain. It's like, oh my gosh, if I try to move that leg, it's like But that's what you get. That's why they say, you know, drunk people who fall, they never have a problem, but they don't have that tension. They don't think about it. And when you feel that you are going to fall, you try to stop it. And then everything in your body is tensing. And I was like, oh no, it was not good. So it being careful is key, especially when your knees are already as bad as they are, and your footing is not great. And then I realized no, I didn't realize. Somebody told me. I have to be honest here, but that information came in front of me. I have been with Dr. Morse now, following his teachings for, I think it comes close to 3.5 years. And the first 7 months, I was like improving so fast that it was totally amazing. I was the happiest person around, and I came from, well, pretty much being bedridden to a point that I was like, I'm not going to make it till the end of the year. That was somewhere in March, April that year. That is how I felt. Like, you know, I was on death's doorstep. Nothing was working out. I was getting sicker and sicker. And then I met Dr. Morse, March, April, started studying him a month later, really following his courses. And I was doing so good. But then after a year or so, I was like, I don't really like those salads. So I started eating them less and less. And the funny thing is, I've never been much of a salad eater. So I figured out I can make a delicious cold soup from the same ingredients, just put it all in a blender. But that happened less and less and less. So I was mostly on all fruit with the cheat cheat weeks once in a while. And my improvement was still there, but the progress was not as much as when I was doing those greens. Not realizing that those greens actually are pretty important. So now back on the path of adding my daily green juice or green smoothie. I haven't decided which I'm going to do. I have been doing the smoothie, which was actually, what was it? Kale and spinach and Dr. Morse's Muscle by Nature. And what else did I have? Oh yeah, apple. I had fresh apple juice. And that actually tasted pretty good. So I'm going to do that for, well, from now on every day, and I'll keep you guys posted of the improvements, because I do have to admit that my muscles are not in a great shape. And I was just expecting it would be with all that fruit, and the body knows what to do, what to get out of the fruit. But my body is not it's still acidic. I mean, I saw it as at least a 7-year journey at my age. And when they say you need a month for every year that you've been sick, and I was like, oh, okay, well, here we go. We got a few more years to go. But you have to do it the right way. And I wasn't doing it the right way, you know, and because I was not a big fan of the green juices, but I found I can make that green juice actually pretty delicious. And I must say that that Dr. Morse's, he has these, he has the super greens, he has the, well, I think it was called Ultimate Super Greens, and he has the Muscle by Nature. So they make the taste really delicious. So I have no excuses.
So does the greens help to alkalize your body when your body is sick?
It's also the minerals in it.
Okay.
It's also the minerals. And you know, I often talk about Lauren Whiteman from what is it, the Terrain Versus, I keep forgetting the name of her group. And she mentioned that you actually have to do it 50-50. 50% fruit, 50% soft leafy greens like lettuce. Iceberg lettuce would be a great one.
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan. I love butter lettuce.
Butter lettuce is another one. It's the soft leafy greens. So I'm going to do that, and that is where I actually, yeah, you could say I was missing out on that. But you have to go through certain experiences to learn. And I just see it at this way. Maybe I would not, if I had not had that fall, I may not have seen it. So it's interesting how that works. I
Well,
always say
sometimes we're brought to our knees to figure something
yeah,
out, and you literally were.
yeah, I always say everything happens for a reason. And it's like, why did I need to have that fall where I couldn't even get up because I couldn't get on my knees and I needed help of people? Well, I could see who my friends are, and that is beautiful. And then to realize and be honest about it, be transparent about it, that you actually should have done something that you tell others to do and you didn't follow it because you think your body can handle it. Now, with me not taking any painkillers, I'm really adamant about that. I do not take them. And I had that gush on my arm. I did not put any lotion or anything on it. Same on my on the side of my head. It's right in front of my ear, on the bone there. And I had fractured that bone before, but that will heal. I don't need to put anything on it. I'm pretty sure my body can handle that.
That's really amazing. I'm very glad you were not hurt any more than what you sustained, and that you recovered very quickly. And here we are, we have you and Juan both recovering very quickly from something that should have probably knocked you both down for a little bit of time.
Yeah, and that is another thing that came to my mind 10 years ago when I tripped over something. My foot got stuck and I tried to hold on, and so my body twisted. I broke a femur. I mean, the femur is the strongest bone in your body.
Absolutely.
It just snapped in two, right under the hip ball. So yeah, now I have metal in my body. But the way I felt this time, 10 years ago, I would probably have broken it. So I know that the bones are already getting stronger. The reason my bones were so weak back then, I had taken calcium supplements my whole life, because I didn't drink milk. And the doctors told me, then you have to take calcium supplements. Well, that is what supplements can do to your body. They weaken it. Not strengthen it, they weaken it. So be aware. And I was going to say something else, and now I forgot. But it is, the faster healing, that it tells me that I'm on my way. I mean, if it didn't bother my leg more than what it was, I have to say the cold that I went through. When you go from weather that is in the 80 degrees.
Okay, well, here we go.
Okay, somebody needs to mute themselves.
Grant joined. So
sorry.
I believe you have your YouTube. You need to mute your YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, no YouTube when you're on the podcast.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. When we went from 80 degrees weather to weather that was in the 20s, so you go that much down in temperature, that was an attack on the body, more so than that fall.
Yeah, that is harsh to go to cold weather like that, man. Well, I'm very happy that you're doing okay, and I'm glad to hear you also too.
So welcome, Grant. This is the first time that we have you on. So now we want to hear your voice, of course.
Happy to be here. I finally figured out how to get on. I had to go through my phone. Usually I watch y'all on my iPad, but it doesn't have cellular. Yeah. So I can't join the Zoom call. Apparently, I don't know. It doesn't seem to let me in when I try from my iPad. But anyway, glad to be here. I got jealous with Juan getting on all of these calls and telegrams and all kind of people coming out right now. It's a good thing. It's I see it as a beautiful thing. Right now, so many people they speaking now. They're clearing that throat chakra, trying to anyway. And yeah, good thing. Lot of people that we've been following, all of us been following or with each other for the last 2 or 3 years, however long it's been, because time it's almost irrelevant at this point. Time, one day, it's poof. 1 year is like 1 day.
And that's
right now. Yeah, so just good to be here and joining in, and a little gnosis. Maybe y'all can give some and we can all give some, and we all be better for it at the end of the day.
Good. Yeah, that's always good, Grant. We need that. The beauty that I see that it's been coming up more and more is that the way Telegram, Facebook, what we do here is there are more and more communities being formed. We lost a lot of family. I did. And literally, my sister died, but I also lost my daughter because she cut me off, which was something that needed to happen. So it's all good. It's not pleasant, you wish things would be different, but sometimes things are the way they are, and your families may not understand what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. And it's like things happen the way they should. But I feel that we have been kind of forming new families, and that is so major important because it has been a difficult few years, definitely. And for us coming together as we have been doing and trusting each other and be able to rely on each other, I mean, that's gold.
It sure is.
Hello?
I don't want to talk over anybody if anybody's talking. So I think we'll have a delay when there's that many people.
Oh, I want to say yay to Grant, and everybody's making breakthroughs out there. Right on. I got my orange right here. Yeah, Sue, go Sue. I see Sue is going to be doing an orange juice feast or an orange feast. I was really kind of thinking about the panda bear. Don't panda bears just eat one thing? I think panda bears just eat bamboo, right? I think, can't we just have like one thing? Couldn't we just live off of one thing? Like if I just lived off of oranges, would that be all right? Or I heard you, Toni, saying earlier about needing 50-50, like you need 50% vegetables, leafy greens, and fruit, or I mean,
yes, that is what with the hygienic diet, what they call that, natural hygienic diet. That is actually what they do, 50-50. I have not heard Dr. Morse talk about it in that way, but he is like, I think he was more like 80% fruit and 20% greens. I think that is probably what I will do. Like 2 of my meals would be fruit and 1 would be greens, and see how it goes, see how my body responds to that. When you ask, can you live on oranges alone? According to Dr. Morse, he did it for many, many months. He said, yes, you can. But he said he needed something that would ground him more. And so he eats, he's not always 100% fruit. And he actually, in one of his videos, he talked about him eating at an Indian restaurant. And the funny thing is, his new building, because the old building is probably pretty much gone. They had so much damages. The whole roof was caved in. So they're in a new building now, right next to his favorite Indian restaurant. I don't know if that's good.
Oh, God, it's going to be a test for him. Huh?
But he does stay away from all the animal products. So if anybody ever has any doubt, like, oh, he's not a fruitarian, no, he eats sometimes cooked, but he's definitely vegan.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah, that's how we are too. My husband still is doing what I've been saying he's been doing. But he just keeps telling me how cold he is and stuff like that too. And so, he bundles up, he moves around, and he's cooked meals at night, and he's still cold even throughout the day. But I'm still more like with what Dr. Morse is saying too, and not so much the minerals or whatever from the greens, but I'm also, trying to follow the more biblical path too, of that our body makes its own minerals, makes everything it needs to make. We just kind of need to get out of its way and allow it to do it. But then just even after hearing you, I just wonder as well too, do we need those extra things, or if we're so depleted that our body still can't be making it?
you have to
Have
think
do
in
with
a
like
way.
your age or your damage you've done, that kind of stuff. So this is actually making me think like a whole nother way now.
Yeah, you have to think about absorption. How clean are we? Have we cleaned out our colon yet? The whole GI tract? We haven't. We're not there yet. So we have an absorption issue. And that is where problems come in. And then we're still dehydrated. So no, we're not there yet. I think when you want to take it really, really deep and go on just one fruit for I don't know how long, and maybe that is also a good way of cleaning out your GI tract. Eventually, that will happen.
So
but
when you talk about absorption, though, are we saying that like because our bodies are not absorbing yet, or because
no, your body, there's just too much gunk in your absorption happens in your GI tract. And if that is all gunk and it hasn't been cleaned out, how can you absorb the nutrients that come into your body?
Right. And that was the first part I was going to say is that what you're talking about with absorption? Because we just physically can't absorb yet because it's still all blocked and clogged.
Yeah.
Or are you also talking about that once we do remove all of that from our GI tract, is it that we're so depleted that then we could use the minerals and stuff from
I don't know. I don't have a good answer on about that. One of my first clients, and she has been on this call a few months ago. She started with Dr. Morse, and she went through with following the hygienic diet. And Lauren Whitman, she cleared so many symptoms. It's a long list. And they are healthy. And if I see how they look and how bright their eyes are, and it's like, okay, the way that they are doing it without any herbs. And I know they had, well, I don't want to say very sick, but they had a ton of symptoms. So would I suggest do it their way, do it Dr. Morse's way? I mean, that's always, what feels best for you. I do take herbs, and I also drink herbal tea. Although I'm not a very frequent herbal intaker. So I do a few weeks and then I stop for a few months and I do a few weeks again. And I do want to try to be more persistent with this and see where it brings me, if my kidneys are working better, because that is a lifelong issue already, which is holding me back. But it's just a lot of things, and it's always about where are you, and what state is your body in. I mean, for you, it's not the same as mine. I'm a lot older. Maybe I ate more junk, although I've never been a meat eater. But I had issues from birth, and some people didn't. And it's like when I look at my husband, he appears to be a lot healthier than I am, and physically. But when we read his eyes, he has problems too, but they have not manifested yet. And that is where we come to the iridology part, that you can actually see things in the iris that has not manifested as a symptom that you are physically aware of. So that is where actually iridology is pretty important.
Yes, I agree with that. No, and I know we've talked about that too, where, people are just on different parts of their path, and who knows what you've, inherited or whatnot. So
I heard you just something saying about being cold. I have that issue too, and that is related to the thyroid. My solution is to add a spoonful of dulse to my smoothie.
Okay.
And that actually, when I was at one time, I was on weeks only for just fruit, didn't have anything else. And oh my God, it was the middle of the summer and I just could not get warm. And it clicked the next day. It's like, oh, hold on, that is my thyroid acting up. So I took some Dulse, and the day after I was okay, not cold anymore.
That's
So
great.
never take iodine. You know, you can buy these drops of iodine. Don't do that.
Yep.
But you know, there's iodine in Dulse and it works.
That's very popular, especially during around the 2020 time when a lot of preppers, people were saying, you know, have iodine, take iodine, and etc. So that's very important to say.
Yeah, Grant, you're asking if we are joining Justin for the winter solstice fast. I think that is coming up really already. And I feel that when you do a fast, do your body a favor and ease into it. Although all of us may be at a point where we could easily do a fast because we've been doing on fruit, you know, for so long. And I think most of the people following Justin are doing the same. So they are ready for a fast. But be careful, because there are a lot of people that are not ready to just jump into a fast. And actually that comes to, I got a question about how I was mentally prepared to a water fast. And to be honest, I was not. That was just a spur of the moment. I'm not a big planner, not at all. I learned to plan now for vacations, like, okay, then we have the hotels and we don't have to look for it and go here and go there and find something that we like. That is where I plan. But other than that, I'm not a big planner. So it was just at one morning, it was like, okay, I'm fed up. I've not been eating what I feel that I should be eating. I'm just going to drink water. And actually, I didn't feel like I wanted anything else. And I wasn't hungry. I didn't have the appetite or the cravings, or I need to eat something else. No, it was just water. I didn't think of it. There was no temptation. And oh boy, am I bad with temptations, especially late in the afternoon. And I think that is something that from everyone that I talked with, they have the same thing. So it's nothing special. It happens to all of us. But with that water, and even on vacation, you know, we didn't stop at restaurants. We had our smoothies with us. And yes, I did have on the last few days of the water fast, I had a glass of apple juice and I think a glass of grape juice. And that was the last 2 days of the vacation. I was so cold, and that was when I was like, okay, you know, let's eat something that is warm. So I had something else. And actually but I first, you know, you always have to break a fast with fruit, and I had done that. So you have to be really careful with it and not, you know, end your water fast or even a fruit feast with a bunch of potatoes like French fries, because that's not going to sit well. And but yeah, I was feeling good. I had very, very few bowel movements. It was like things kept just being stuck. And I did not use the GI broom. I did that the first week, but not the last few weeks. And that would actually would have been a good thing. And the funny thing is, Sana, you're asking about what is the best fruit for fiber for those with constipation issues. Well, I found that was absolutely the grapes. Oh my God, can grapes clean you out? On the other hand, for my husband, it's apples or apple juice that cleans him out. And for me, it was grapes. I ate grapes, and I was like, within 20 minutes, I got cramps and I had to go fast. So that's actually kind of funny, but those are the ones that work really good. And make sure that you hydrate it, you know, drink your water, drink your lemon water, you know, if need to be. And it's it will help. It's dehydration is really a big thing. And I can tell now after a little over 3 weeks on a water fast that my bowel movements are more frequent than before I did it. So yes, I did, reset something in my GI tract. But there was no mental planning, as in fruit raw first, then fruit juices, and then the water fast. It was just an on the go. Okay, let's do that and see how I feel. And I think we can all do that. They usually say if you do it for the first time, do it with a specialist. So, when problems come up, then they can guide you through it. And I have done it twice before, once when I was in my 50s and another one 10 years ago, which was actually in a lemon fast. And I did not have that guidance. I did it on my own. I was, I'll see how it goes. If I would feel very sick, I would have stopped, but I didn't. I felt fine. So maybe this is where I am lucky. I know when my husband does that, and I have quite a bit more weight on my body than he does. If he is on all fruit, he starts detoxing right away and have detox symptoms, and I don't. So that's why I say, we're all at a different state, and you just have to see how it goes. And if you want to do a water fast, start with 1 day. Do a 1 day a week. That won't hurt you. And if it feels good, and you think, okay, let's do 3 days, that would be amazing already. It's kind of a reset for your body. That's how I see it. And it's not dangerous. You can do it.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this. What is it? The winter solstice fast? I guess Justin is going to be doing just water coming up. Is that like around the 20th or something, or of this month?
Well, Juan, what I was talking about, the reason I brought it up is this is just a whatever you want to do fast. He's simply saying he's going to do juice to prepare for it to the 17th or something, and then go into like an 8-day or 9-day water fast. But no, you don't have to do it. Just whatever you want to give up. Give up some cooked food. Give up starches, give up chips, give up smoking, whatever it is. That's what kind of brought me to it. I'm gonna go a little deeper than that. I'm gonna go just fruit if I can. I don't know about water fast. I never water fasted before. But as far as for the fruit, I do that every day anyway. So that's not a big difference. I just might cut out the things that I do. Fish, shrimp, and foods. From that, it just go total fruit. And like I said, he presented a way to where else you do it at that. And just try.
Hey, Grant, you're breaking up. The phone's breaking up.
Grant, we cannot hear you.
I don't even.
Grant, hey, you need a new phone, man. Your phone is breaking.
My life.
Who's your carrier?
Okay, Grant, you were breaking up, so this is for now. It's not working.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. We can. Oh, he disconnected. I'm so sorry. We could not hear you. But what I did hear was, and I think that is quite amazing, but that Justin thought of that you during that fast feast event, you give up something that you feel that you need to give up. That is absolutely great. That is, and we all can do that. There's always something that we can gonna give up, and if it's only one thing, great. There are a lot of people that I know that are on the fruit wagon already, but they cannot give on smoking, and that is so important to give up. We don't want that in our body. I see so many people with colon cancer and actually with other types of cancer too, who are all smoking. So that would always be a good thing to give up.
You know, a tough one to give up this time of the year would be sugar. Isn't this like the season of the sugar season, you know, because we just came out of Halloween, and then you have you know, well, Thanksgiving with all the pies and the sweets, and then you know.
Oh no, Juan. We did not eat any of that, did you?
No, not me. No. Hey, yeah, you know, we had a show on Thanksgiving, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, we never really reported how everything went, because I was invited to a dinner, and I just brought my own salad, a big old, well, actually it was to share with everybody, but the amount of salad that people put on their plate is like a joke to me. It's like one leaf of lettuce and a little cherry tomato. That's a salad to me.
Yeah.
I had 4 big old plates of salad. You know what I mean? And I made my own dressing. I brought my own dressing made out of you know, fresh apple juice, and I put some spices in it, and I put some raisins in the apple juice and shook it
very
up.
good. Yeah. Yeah, try adding some lemon to it too, and maybe dates. That makes it a little thicker. It's amazing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll try that next time. So how was everybody's Thanksgiving? No turkey, right?
No, they wouldn't even dare to say they ate turkey, right?
No, there ain't no way. I haven't had turkey in so long. Go ahead, Grant. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I did eat some pecan pie that my mom made, and it's the pecans I picked from our trees. So I did indulge in a little piece. That was about it, you know. But I stayed away from all the other stuff. I had my salad. I'm the oddball.
Pecan pie would be hard to stay away from, especially homemade.
Yeah, that's what I said. It wasn't from the store and all of that. Of course, it's got all of the carob sugar syrups and stuff like that, which is unnatural sugars. But you know, that's a one time a year. Okay, that was my Thanksgiving for them.
You know what? We should put a recipe together for pecan pie that we can actually eat, because you're talking about the sugars, and you know, that's the white, the crystal sugar. But did you know that date sugar is pretty amazing?
I was thinking you could probably make it up with like the just dates, and then blend them up with some water, like make it really thick, kind of like a date paste, almost like, and then just
I did that. Yeah, and you made the bottom. I made the bottom from dates with nuts, and then grind them up until they get really sticky, so you can make a bottom. And you can actually make it in such a way that you don't even have to cook it. But you know, if you still want to cook it, it is possible. But there are other options, healthier options. And I think once we know that, we can share that with these people. It's like, you know, it tastes, because date sugar is pretty good. It's pretty good, actually. And you can easily make a date syrup. I mean, that is just dates and a little water. Yep. And it's absolutely delicious. And it tastes better, because I always feel that with that white sugar, there is an aftertaste. I was pretty bad when we were on vacation. We were in Helen, Georgia. This is and I think I mentioned that last week. It's like an all German style town. I mean, they try to, you know, make it look like German houses. It doesn't really, but if you don't know, then you would say, okay, that is the German Austria kind of idea. So I was like, oh my God, I want some Apfelkuchen. And my husband, he went inside, and he came back, with some apricot donut kind of thing. Oh my God. And that had sugar on it. It has such an odd aftertaste. We cannot even eat that anymore. It's like your whole jaw is kind of cringing. It's less disgusting.
Yep. Things don't smell right or taste right.
Yeah, so if need be, and we have family, then look for other recipes. And usually you get pretty good results when you do raw vegan recipes, in whatever you would like to find. I have a recipe book that is called Love on a Plate. And really, this is made by my God, what is her name? Kara Brotman. And her designs on a plate, it is love. Now she does use things that I wouldn't use normally, for healing. But if you are all raw and you are already, healthy, you don't have any symptoms, those recipes are great. And the book is expensive, but it is beautiful. And I feel like, yeah, you should have it, because when family comes over and they want, or family or friends, they are not where you are with your food intake or your lifestyle, and they would like to see something that they recognize. They actually make all kinds of dishes that are similar to what we know, and it goes from, I have it right in front of me, so I need to get it out to tell you exactly what is in there. But these are recipes, and I tried it out with people who had never eaten anything vegan and raw. But they have like an tuna salad, a mayonnaise. Actually, my recipe for mayonnaise was actually based on what they were doing. Only they were putting oil in it, and I was like, I can do that without oil, and I did it with coconut meat. All it is coconut meat and lemon and a little turmeric for color, and maybe if needed to be a little salt or some chili powder, and you have a delicious what is it? A delicious mayonnaise. So they have the macaroni and cheese. They have tacos, sushi. What am I seeing here? A curry omelette, durian custard with fruit. Pasta and creamy sauce, an Indian feast, kung po and chicken, spicy Thai curry noodle and chicken. So there is a gourmet pizza, a tropical salsa, vegetables for suvio over noodles. There's so many recipes. A burger patty. I think they made that with, what did they make it with? She made it with sunflower seeds. So it's not something that we want to eat, really on a daily basis, so we don't get too many of the nuts and the seeds. But the once in a while, I would say, my gosh, have fun with that, because it is delicious. It is healthy. It's definitely healthier than any of the cooked versions. And this is all raw. What they do is all raw. Now, not every one of us has a dehydrator, because they use a dehydrator a lot. But when I started it like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I got a lot of these raw food cookbooks, uncooked books, recipe books. And there are a lot of amazing food choices there. And I think those are the ones that we can actually share with our family, because we always say, oh, they're not going to eat that. They want their meat. It's like, well, I tried it out even with a guy who was was over 100 years old and very picky. And I made things, and I was always like, okay, do you like it? Yeah, what is it made of? Well, you got to eat first, and then I'll tell you. So it was actually a fun thing to do. And especially when you have kids, you can, go through it, figure things out. I like doing it. It's getting people that way on a healthier path. But
Hey,
when
Toni,
go ahead.
Oh, and I was just gonna ask, all those dishes that you were mentioning, like chicken kung pao and all that yummy stuff. Was that raw, or is that just?
Yeah, it's all raw.
Oh,
wow. Go on. It's the book. It is called Love on a Plate: The Gourmet Uncooked Book, Plant-Based Versions of the Most Favorite Meals in the World. And she had a raw food restaurant for years. And what she actually did, she went to restaurants, and then it was before she was raw vegan, and then she ate things. Then she was like, "Oh my gosh, I can make this into a raw version," and then she started creating. So now they make daily videos. I mean, if you look up Kara Brotman, Brotman, and Marcus Rothkrans, they are they're pretty famous actually in Hollywood.
Wow.
But they are into meditation, into breathing techniques, into health. I don't agree with everything, but what I learned now from Dr. Morse, I don't agree with everything they do, but they were amazing for me as a transition period.
That's incredible. You know, when you were mentioning all those different dishes, my stomach started growling. It made me hungry, but then I was thinking, I got a download, like, what about making like a restaurant, like, you know, because people are really, I think, looking for the alternatives now. You know, the times are changing and people are waking up, and
yeah, I know that, but raw vegan is not really the most popular. We had a raw vegan that's an hour and a half from here, and we used to go there once in a while. And they were all raw vegan for years, and they even had a franchise. Well, the franchise was only open maybe 2 years, and then it closed already. Now, the whole COVID stuff didn't do any good in you know, with those kind of restaurants. And the last time I went to this restaurant, many months ago now, they actually had soup. They had a cooked soup. So even they had to put more dishes on their plate to reach a broader audience. Otherwise, they would have gone under. So it's being a raw vegan. When I am somewhere, when we're traveling and we don't have the fruit or we just want something else, I'm always looking for a raw vegan restaurant. And to be honest, you know, then you are stuck with a regular salad. But there was a restaurant in Orlando, Dandelion, where I love to go. Wasn't all raw, but it closed. So it's I think there are 3 vegan restaurants left there now. But yeah, it's the transition period to get into it is so important, and you will already feel better when you go on that all raw. I mean, that is a big step for me. When I was all raw and still not healing, I was just eating too much of these absolutely great dishes with, you know, the vegan cream cheese made out of nuts. And if you know, you put like 3 cups of nuts in a cheesecake like that, and you're only supposed to eat a few. Well, when I make those cakes, you're not gonna stop at just 1 slice. I can assure you that. So I didn't. And for me, that was way too many nuts and seeds in yeah, the other fats like the coconut meat and the avocados, it's not healing. So, but I'm talking about the once in a while that you need something else and you still want to have a good meal, and meals that you can actually share and have fun with. So
yeah. Oh, well, you know, that's funny. You're talking about you know, like nuts and seeds, and I pretty much eliminated the nuts, but then I found something new I like. The pepitas, you know, the pumpkin seed, the inside of it raw, and you know, I've been eating them by the handfuls.
oh, you have no limits, do you?
No, well, you know, but you find
It is
something
still, yeah, you know what, Juan, it's still seeds. You know, when I talk about nuts and seeds, there is a question that have been coming up lately quite a lot. It's like, okay, Toni, do you eat the seeds? And then when you think about apple seeds, no, I don't eat them. Do you eat the orange seed? No, I don't. But we eat the pumpkin seeds, we eat other seeds. Are they actually meant for us? You know, do they really digest? No, they don't really. And with what Lauren says, yeah, and even Dr. Morse, you know, when you're healthier, you're not detoxing, sure, eat a handful. And a handful, I mean, you know, that is maybe a tablespoon of seeds, and even that to me would be too much. So it's like you say, yeah, you eat it by the handfuls. That's not what we should do.
No, you're so correct. I was gonna tell you that this morning, I had I'm so used to having a soft stool. I mean, I just sit down, it's done. I get back up, and this morning I was having a hard stool, pushing something out, and then when I looked, it was like green, and I go, what was that? What is this? And then I thought about it, and I says, oh, yesterday I ate all those pumpkin seeds. So, it came to mind that, maybe I'm eating too many pumpkin seeds and it's giving me like some constipation or something, because I'm not used to having to push anymore,
Yeah, it's always when you go overboard, as long as you know what is causing it, that is where you need to have the connection with your body, that it is something that you did. There's nothing wrong with your body, it just does what it needs to do. And that digesting everything that you have been put in there, and sometimes it's just too much. So I see Sana. I am so happy that he gave up smoking. That is a big thing for him to do. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And great fast now for 33 days. Yeah, you went for the 40 days. To add to his diet after this, start eating apples. You can add any kind of fruit you want. And let's go then to the regeneration part with the greens, because that is what Dr. Morse has been teaching us, that there is a time for detoxing, especially with cancer, but there's also a time for regeneration. So we just have to see what state he is in there. I'd love to talk with you guys again soon, so let's do that.
Hey, Toni, I weighed myself this morning. I'm weighing myself like once a month. I'm not going to do the daily thing, and I used to do that, but I'm just basing what I'm doing on how I feel. And I've just been doing just basic little exercises to keep my body in shape. And when I broke my water fast last month, I got down to 137 pounds, and I'm maintaining a weight now between 149 and 150 pounds. So I've gained like 13 pounds of muscle on this new life path that I'm on. It's truly amazing, because I was under the impression before, to build muscle and to be stronger and all those things that we're told that we need the protein shakes and we need, the bodybuilding things. And in actuality, it's been very easy. It's been so simple to just, be living this lifestyle and still like build muscle. I mean, I really, I feel and look great. And so I just want to, give that kind of support to anybody that's considering that this lifestyle. You don't need all that other crap that they're advertising that you need to be healthy.
No, you absolutely don't, and it's hurting people more than they are aware of. It's like, keep that junk out of your body. You don't need it. But I have to say, your positive attitude with everything is a big thing with your health also. That makes so much of a difference.
Oh, you're so right, Toni. And yeah, I also wanted to say I'm so sorry to hear about your fall, and it's really interesting that you said, that not only is it, I guess it's the Epsom salt bath that you went into, that must be really good for drawing out the what is it, the bruising or something?
I don't know what it was, if it was the hot water, but the pain was to a point I did not know how to sit, stand, walk, or do whatever. I was in tears. It was so bad. And it was in the area of the bones. And I had a bruised bone in my shin before, and I was in bed for 2 months because I couldn't do anything. It was just as bad as breaking it. So it was, and I was like, oh my God, no, not now. I have way too much to do. So, but no, it could have, and maybe if there was no Epsom salt in it, and it would have been just the hot water, it would have been good. Because that is what happens when you have a bruise. You feel the heat in your body, and that is part of the healing. You know, it's getting what is it, a bruise. It feels hot. It feels hot to the touch, and I just added more heat, and maybe that is what it needed. But it was an hour in the tub, and I was like, okay, that worked. I slept well, so no issues. I just saw something. Oh yeah, is there more acid in some nuts than others? Sue, it would be good if you look in the mucus less foods list that is actually in the show notes. And if you have my ebook, it's in there also. And you can see which of the nuts are more mucus forming. It would be good to look at that. I think what the problem with nuts is the high fat and the high proteins, and they don't always work for us. I know they don't work for me. And there are some nuts where you should only, those are those really high fat macadamia nuts. They are really high fat. You shouldn't even eat more than 2 or 3 in a day. And so that is a maximum. So when we're talking about a handful of nuts, then that would be it. Now the issue is that, you know, you can use nuts to make great sauces. You know, it gets creamy, but then look at how many nuts that you are actually putting in your body when you use a sauce like that, or what I mentioned before with that cream cheese pie. And my pie was, it of course not cream cheese, but I used cashews with blueberries. Totally delicious. But I haven't made it I haven't made it since Dr. Morse told me that no nuts, no seeds. And since I learned that from him. So yeah. My gosh, people, don't be so quiet. Are you still all there?
Yep. Here it is, listening in. I did have something that I wanted to talk about before we end our podcast, and that was our friend Katie. She has reached out a couple times about the ear pain that she's been having. Has she reached out to you as well?
I have not heard from her anymore. She has the ebook, and I told her to go to the section in the children's part that is specifically about ear pain and what to do. And there's really not anything else that I would be able to suggest other than do the ear candling. And I know they were asking, where do you get those candles? And I even saw them at Walmart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. So, and you do 2 or 3 in one ear. I did it, you know, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 left, 1 right, 1 left, 1 right, 3 times. Don't worry about what is getting out. It has to do with releasing the pressure.
Mm-hmm. I also told her to like moist heat. I will put like on the side of my face and stuff like that too. Maybe even a hot and cold therapy to kind of open and close those areas. See if we can kind of release some of the pain.
There is also a mullein garlic oil that is being used, and that actually Dr. Morse mentioned that too.
Yep.
And so that is another one. It has been in a fans group with a 6-year-old who had frequent ear infections, and it seems nobody wanted to hear that it is better to take away the cost, so you don't keep having them. Because I know how painful they are, and I had a burst, what do you call it, eardrum. And when I was 12 years old, after having twice a year for 12 years, those ear infections, my eardrum was so shriveled that and I have been 100% deaf and could not hear anything. So I actually learned sign language, and it had all to do with my ears, but it went away. They told my mother I would be deaf for the rest of my life, but my hearing came back. And I have no issues whatsoever with my ears at this age. And of course, that has to do with my diet too. But what they did when I was 12 was that shriveled eardrum, they put high pressure on it to smoothen it out a bit. And that was so extremely painful that they said, yeah, we do it now on one side and in 2 weeks we do it on the other side. Well, even at 12 years old, my mother could not make me go back. It was not going to happen. So I only had one side done, not the other side. And I have to say, the one side where they tried to fix it, I had more issues with extreme wax, things like that. I don't have that anymore either. That's all gone. I don't have that anymore. But that ear they worked on was always worse than the other one. So that means it comes back to the body can heal, without doctors messing things up, if I may say that.
Juan looks like he's talking, but he is muted.
Oh, yeah. I muted myself. I was just amazed at that story, Toni, because I have my right ear. I think I've spoken to it before. And, when I changed my, diet a year ago, over a year now, going vegan, I just thought I had permanent hearing loss, and my hearing is almost equal to my left. And so, it really comes down to, not just what we put into our mouths, but I really think that it has a lot to do with the way that we think, because we don't necessarily have to always believe in those guys in the white coats. They're going to tell you things like, if you believed that you weren't going to hear anymore, you even learned sign language. Jeez, that's, if you believe into that, you will make it so.
Yeah, but that was when I got completely deaf, I was 5 years old. And my mother could only get my attention by bouncing something on the floor that I could feel, so I could, look up and see what she wanted. And over the years, it went away. And that was in the time, we're talking about the 50s, that they said I had my, what do they call that? Those polyps being taken out. Is that polyps? No, it's like in your throat. What do they call that?
Tonsils.
Tonsils in your, okay, that is the English word. Had to be taken out. And because there was so much polio around, that it was a dangerous thing to do. That is the only story that I remember that my mother told me. So my tonsils were taken out a few years after, and that is when my hearing came back. So with what we know now from Dr. Morse is you need your tonsils. And when there was an issue, it already meant that I had extreme stagnated lymph. And when you don't take care of that, then what can you do? They didn't know. The doctors didn't know. My parents didn't know. My parents were both smokers too. So I grew up in a smoking household.
Wow, you didn't pick up smoking? I heard that it was like high. You had a really high chance of being a smoker.
I have been a smoker. Okay, I always have some funny stories. I was 14 years old, and I had to take a bus, and I don't have the school buses here. You take, public transportation to school. And I had stolen a menthol cigarette from my mother. My mother was always smoking Alaska. They were in Holland, they were called, or the Netherlands, they were called Alaska menthol cigarettes. That was the only one that she liked. I had one, and I had a lighter. So it was cold. I was waiting at that bus stop from school on the way going home. It was probably like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I I found that I was such an adult, and I had that cigarette in my hands, and I lit it up, and I took a sip, and oh my gosh, I got so stoned from that one cigarette or part of that cigarette that when that bus came around the corner, it was probably 4 feet off the ground, and that was coming at me, and I still don't remember how I ever got in. So that was the end of smoking. That was the first time. Then when I was about 17 years old, everyone around me was smoking pot and making, what is it called, these joints. And I didn't really like smoking at all. But, you know, I was very shy, and I didn't smoke pot at all. And but yeah, I rolled my own cigarettes, and that gave me kind of a little bit of confidence somehow. And when I was 18, almost 19, I got pregnant, and I got so sick from smoking a cigarette that I stopped right away. That was I think that was actually in the 3rd week of my pregnancy. So I didn't smoke during my pregnancy, but 2 years after that, I was in a very, well, you could say traumatic situation with soon to be ex, that I picked smoking up again. I think my daughter was about a year old. And it wasn't long until I got asthmatic bronchitis, and I couldn't even breathe. I was sitting straight up in bed, and then the hospital told me I was allergic and for cigarette smoke and exhaust fumes, and would be on medication the rest of my life. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So I moved out of the city into the country and never smoked again. It was, and I had pneumonia. And that was all because of that smoking. My lungs were like, no, that is not going to happen. So after that, I never smoked again. So, I stopped, probably that happened when I was 22 or 23. So it's been a long time that I didn't smoke. I cannot be around smokers. It like still makes me, like I can't breathe. So that was also a reason I never went into bars, because there was always smoking, and I couldn't handle that. So that was my smoking story. But I think that one cigarette, that was actually, it's a fun story.
I like that one. That is where the bus was floating.
Yeah, that's the only time in my life, actually, well, pretty much, other than once I ate some cookies with stuff in it. But I was like, no, don't like that either. I don't like how it makes me feel. So I never got drunk, and I never really got stoned. But that menthol cigarette, oh my gosh, it was as bad as any pot. Now, can you just imagine what it does to your body and what it does to your mind? What an effect it has on your body.
Yep.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And we shouldn't be smoking cannabis either. And the cannabis oils and stuff like that as well they just suppress the pain. They don't actually really cure anything. And the smoking of marijuana or whatnot, that is definitely not the way to get high, to be closer to God. The only way you should use cannabis is through incense. So sorry to burst people's bubbles, but we should not be smoking it.
No, what I can see is, I don't even know, using it as an essence. That still smoke, when you smell it, it comes into your body.
Well, I also have another opinion about it too. And some of you people that are, my age and older, have you smelled any of the new marijuana nowadays that just smells absolutely rancid and nasty, and anywhere you go, people's cars, and I never ever remember marijuana smelling like that.
No, so you're absolutely right.
I think something has been added to all of it, or changed, or I don't know the science behind it, but I wouldn't touch that stuff with a 10-foot pole.
No, I think when it comes to the point that we are allowed to grow it ourselves, and we know it's clean, then I would possibly use it in a smoothie, but I would not smoke it. That is, the smoke doesn't belong in our bodies. I do have to address something really quick, and I think we did it, and that was to Anna Cohen. She messaged me, and it was about the water and the mental aspect of it, and I think I did answer that. So if she can, Anna, if you're here, because you said you were usually listening, then let me know if you had the answer that you felt you needed. And otherwise, just connect with me again. We talk about it.
And for Justin's the fruit feast or the fast of any sort, I'm gonna be maintaining just the fruits, and then we will go into an orange juice feast over that time period as well too. But I personally will not be water fasting, but I will be juice fasting during that time.
Yeah, it's I cannot get any oranges here in Florida.
We're still lucky enough to have them. They're the Valencias, so
yeah. Well, I see it is 1:11 again. That's always our magic
Perfect.
number, isn't it? That we get at 1:11. And then it's like, okay, we're over an hour again. I want to thank everybody again for being here. I love all you guys being here. And till the next time, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you. Yeah. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everybody.
Grant, it was so good to hear from you, and we hope to hear from you again soon. And Juan, always good to see you. And
Thanks,
Toni,
lady.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you
go
all. We
Sue.
love you. And
Woo, you can do it, Sue.
till the next time, guys.
Bye-bye.
Be the light.
Yes.
Love you.